Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live. It will be slightly different from what we've had, but I promise you that if you stay until the end of the show, you'll not only learn a set of key lessons, but super important, you will learn how to become better and how can competition help you. Yes, competition for self-defense. How can that help you moving ahead in your training? And uh, here's what really happened. Okay, and yesterday it was supposed to be a training day at the studio, and at the same time a competition day for my daughter. She's 7 years old, and and we tried. Like guys, we tried, but the snow came in. It was really harsh, so we had to cancel classes. And when you are a business owner like me, and when you have responsibilities in terms of teaching and training, what you want to ensure is that people train every day, right? That's super important. Like no one likes no one likes not to be training. So let me put everyone more close to me over here, and then we can address questions and anything. Yeah, so we are streaming live from our studio in Morris Plains. Uh, it's a pleasure to see people out here that are interested in martial arts. I got that huge static. You felt it over here. And this is our shirt, Train, Grow, and Protect. It's a bit like the Octonauts, but better. If you guys have kids, you know what the Octonauts will mean. If not, Google it. It's pretty cool. So I want to get everyone across. I would say this key need, and I would say super important in this sense of the things that we're going to talk about is this. My name is Gonçalo Esteves, first of all, okay? And today I'd really like to share a lot of the things that happened and how the science relates to the training that you are doing, okay? That's been one of the key elements when we do these lives, is that you learn more from my experience, from my 42 years of martial arts, but also from the experience and from science-driven content, okay, that is being validated. What I'm about to share with you guys today changed and made me go back to things that I've learned about my 16 years competing in the national team, my many years as a top consultant, and of course, regarding also many of the things that I learned as I worked with astronauts in my space career. So yesterday I was supposed to be training. Instead, we had to cancel things in here, and it was also a masterclass in resilience that I didn't expect. Okay, my 7-year-old daughter went to her gymnastics competition. It's her first one, like official, pretty strong, and we were like, what's going to happen? As a father, I've walked many years into competition. I've putting the backpack, all of those things, but seeing that happen with one of your loved ones, it's just different. And I've seen my son compete in soccer, and I've seen also his rituals in preparation. I would say as you grow older, you also have different approaches, and you also see things with other eyes. So Morris Plains got hit by snow, really, I'm going to say hard enough. We had to travel to Kalahari. We travel like at 6 a.m. before the second part of the storm, and yeah, to watch our daughter compete. But guys, the moment I walked into that gymnasium, I'm like, okay, what I'm enjoying is like the giant conference center, okay, at the Kalahari Resort. You see parents, backpacks, restrooms, warm-up areas. You see all of that happen, all of that, and all of those things came flooding back. Okay, there's mostly the nervous energy. Okay, parents, clustered together, whispering, kids, including me. Well, at that time, I was no longer a 42-year-old. I was like probably a 16-year-old, going in with my team to a corner to start warming up, focused on the intensity that you see coming from a competition. You can only see that in competitions. I've not seen it anywhere else. I've done, conference fairs, jobs, proposals, CEO meetings, all of that thing, but competition is just a different animal. Um, so suddenly I was no longer the 42-year-old veteran martial arts. Okay. I was that 16-year-old entering and feeling my heart spike. The height, the gyms, everything in there. So uh, I think what hit me the hardest was that seeing my daughter go to the same emotional cycle that I went through hundreds of times, hundreds. The preparation, the nerves, the performance, the disappointment, yes, and then the recovery. That all happens. I've seen it with Enrique as well, my son, and now I seen with her. Um, she got 2 5th places and a 7th, okay, out of 20 kids in our division on the first two. For her first competition, I think that was really, really good. But she didn't see that in that way. That's just the reality. She's like, "Oh, is this possible? I lost." And guess what? It happened to me tremendous times. Okay, she cried. She thought that she was the worst, as you see the numbers coming down. She wanted to win, and that's why I posted something like, "When you go for a competition, guys, you go there to win. You don't go there to participate. You participate in a potluck. You bring your food." You like your food to be good, but that's it. That's a big, big difference. Okay. And I think in that moment, I really, and this has been a constant realization that competition brings training to a different level. And that's, I would say, for a very specific level, that's what we are training people to do: self-defense. I don't need you to agree on this. I know this. You might disagree. I'm okay with that. But I think that at the highest level, competition is a life or death scenario. It probably not feel that way, but when I've entered certain arenas, I'm like, this is it. I need to do this the best way that I can because there is no other moment. Okay. Why, you might ask, why does this matter for self-defense? Gonzalo, what does gymnastics has to do with Krav Maga, right? I think everything. And it's curious that it's also, in this particular thing, an individual sport, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 reasons. First, you cannot control the outcome. You can only control the preparation and your response. That's something very similar to self-defense. Second, your nervous system does distinguish between a gymnastics meet and the parking lot encounter. The heart will spike, fine motor skills will disappear, tunnel vision will kick in. What I mean is, at the stress level, at the response, you go in, your heart rate will go up, you're going to focus. This is my task. That's what I need to do. Same thing when someone starts shouting at you and say, "Hey, what do you want? Hey, in here, people don't talk this way," or whatever. Your heart will go bzz, up there. Okay, your nervous system will kick in. So that's very similar. Okay, it's third. Okay, number 3, to be clear, how you handle failure and pressure in low-stakes situations determines later how you will handle it in everything that is coming up. And that's why we build this thing. So these are 3 key. You can't control the outcome. You control your preparation and your response to what's happening. Second, your nervous system, think about this from a physiological perspective, you respond the same way because there is a huge stressor coming in. You could argue that, okay, we don't know when things are going to happen. In this case, that's something that you can control. You don't control who are the other practitioners, or when you see them, oh boy, way better than me. Oh my goodness, how did I do that? And the third one, how you handle failure and pressure in low stakes. That is, how do you reorganize training, how you reorganize yourself. During my 16 years in the national karate team, I competed all over the world, okay? And I was the 4 times national champion back in Portugal. But what most people don't understand is that at the high level of competition, it is the preparation, guys. It is all of the things that are required. It's the mental process. And I know that I lost some things because of the mental process. I know I wasn't ready. I was not ready enough. So essentially learning to function when everything goes on overdrive. That happened to me a lot. I doubted my training, and that if I doubt your training, and it doesn't work the same way. I had my own pre-competition routine. I'll show it in here. Okay, that was a very intense warm-up, jumps until my heart was racing, and then I had a specific KI. I would do that when we would line up. I'll show in here, and I think it embodied the person that wanted to win. Okay, super important. I'll show it what it is. Okay, here. So I would stand aside. Okay, we would line up. Guys. I would go. I would go. I knees. I would go. Man, I would jump really. Yeah! I was like, yes, I'm ready. Got it. I would get out of the. Oh man. I would spike up. I would get out of there. Man, I would just jump. And I would. You felt the key, right? You felt that. I would then jump and shout out loud like, "This is my place. This is mine." Huh. I can tell you that sometimes I didn't know if it was mine because it would line up with more practitioners. And I'm like, but I have to do it. Okay, so it was a bit of fake it until you make it. It took me a while to get there until making it was more the norm than the fake it. So let me share with you guys what, in preparation for these, I went to see what the research tells us about competition and resilience development. And you can find them, okay? You can find this. A 2025 meta-analysis on sports and psychology resilience in children found that competitive experiences, when properly supported, strengthen children's ability to cope with stress, enhance self-confidence, and improve emotional regulation. But here's the key finding. Controlled competitive experiences enhance resilience. Uncontrolled competitive pressure do the opposite. That's why it's so important that we bring that. And that's what happened in there. Okay, that was a good call in there. So Dr. Ann Maston calls resilience the ordinary magic. It's developed through the right combination of environments, relationships, and the chance to explore challenges with psychological safety. And that's what we're doing here. Clear? Studies on elite athletes show that resilience, and this is a different study from a different author. We talked about that yesterday night. Studies on elite athletes show that resilience isn't a trait that you are born with. It's a dynamic process that develops through, here we go, facing controlled adversity, super important. Learning from failure, yes. I'll have a whole set on what does it mean failure. And having supportive relationships during setbacks, developing coping strategies that work under pressure. So who doesn't want that, right? So here's why I think it matters, and the competition between what is that competition and self-defense connection. Research from combat sports psychology shows that athletes who compete regularly develop better stress management, faster decision makers under pressure, and more effective coping mechanisms than those who only train. Yeah. So that's now here's the problem. Krav Maga does not have a formal competition. It doesn't. Does it make sense? Yes or no? You can argue, but it doesn't. So we need something that creates the same psychological pressure, right? We have the science saying that, and we know our brain and our bodies work. So that's why we use time pressure drills. You got two attackers, 5 seconds, take them out, or take them in, or push them away, or push yourself out based on an outcome. Fatigue-based training. We'll have a whole episode on why fatigue is so important and how we need to ensure that our nervous system and our physical systems, all the things that we have, are adapted and can train. Scenario variations. The guy comes in, knife from the top, knife from down, comes in from the door, multiple, and partner and predictability. That is why we do a combination of you learn the skill with a partner, and then from a partner you move to different partners. And that's why women should not only train with women. In the beginning, yes, if you feel confident, but not because they are women, but because you should train with a partner that kind of in the beginning resembles your own physical qualities, height, weight, and strength. Okay, just think about that, and potentially even your mental, your personality. But at least the other three allows some psychological safety to start training, and then you move to other partners. But we do it consciously. Okay, so in here there's a rule: women fight men. Got it? And the reverse rule, that is men attack women, right? Because that's what happens out there. So we are not essentially trying to replicate violence. We are trying to replicate the stress response that happens in violence. Because replying violence means that you would swear, you would be a mean person, and that's not, guys, that's not what happens in here. Forget that. We don't do that. Then later, okay, I want to kind of let that go in, because that's how the process works in here. That's how we train things in here. That's how we do and help and put everything going, I'm going to say, together. I would like you guys, if you have comments, first of all, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I'm going to make a short break. Okay, cool. We got a couple of people that joined. And continuing from there. So what then my wife taught me, okay, after that, after my daughter's competition, after the competition, my wife said something that kind of like stopped me. You need to teach her how you did things. I would go up there, I would go to the events, and okay, I belonged there. I wanted to be in the place, okay? Even when sometimes I wasn't sure, as walking into the pavilion. Of course, after like 16 years, you walk into the pavilion and you know that in your kind of category, these guys are looking out for you and you are looking out for them. So that, I think that's a very important thing to think about that. And that's when I've kind of realized that I haven't brought that enough to my children, okay? And I need to bring it even more to my students. That is, how do we embody that capability end to end, even when you don't feel it, okay? Even when that happens. And I saw also great things in there as a coach, okay? When we were there, when Mia was crying, a gymnastics coach came in and told my daughter, don't worry about today. This is a gathering. You want to think about winning the states. You want to think about preparing yourself for that. Think about regionals, okay? And I was like, yes, of course. But she's 7, right? Even more pressure? Well, but first of all, it puts the mind out there, longer term. It also says that, okay, this is a step. And it's a third voice. So that's also important to think that you don't need only one coach, in my view of the world. Okay, you need more than one coach. You need to have several coaches. So I want to pause in here and ask you guys regarding what you've done in your self-defense training. And how have you felt? Have you been challenged enough? Are you up for the challenge? Are you up for the challenge to compete? First of all, being the best coming in, stepping into the door, and then being the best of yourself as you walk through each one of these learnings that come from self-defense. So here's what I would like you guys to think as well. I think that what competition actually teaches is this. It doesn't teach you to dominate others, although you win, but you also lose. It also teaches you how to master yourself better. I'm going to put better because it's not like a direct process. It teaches that preparation, definitely preparation matters more than talent. Okay, that's something that I've seen across the board, and then that we can emulate in a constant basis. It teaches that your response to failure determines your success. and we'll walk through these with examples, okay? Every day. And most importantly, it teaches that you can function even when you are not ready. So either you are a parent watching, or that wants your teenager to train better, or yourself, an adult learning self-defense, or someone that was never faced real pressure, you need to control the exposure to stress that will make you successful. Not trauma, not chaos. It's a control challenge. It's something that builds capability so that you can function when it matters. Ready to do that? Hit the button below. And remember, guys, train every day.